Are you ready for some smart, plain talk on politics, Israel, and the law? It's the Andrew Parker Show. Let's roll. Welcome to another episode of the Andrew Parker Show as we talk politics, Israel, and the law each and every episode. This is episode 499. And it coincides with our 10-year anniversary of being up on the air, both radio and podcast for many, many years. Now, in the cloak of, in the name of the Andrew Parker Show, go to theandrewparkershow.com, but also visit our number one sponsor, Parker Daniels Keyboard, parkerdk.com, for the premier law firm in downtown Minneapolis. Litigation firm, that's what we do. That's all we do. Aggressive litigation work on behalf of our clients. Wise counsel, winning results. And indeed, if you come to us, you will receive a very personal representation by our team of outstanding lawyers, each and every one vetted over an extended period of time. And what a team it is. So for episode 499, I want to talk about the Jews and why it is that the world is so focused on this small group of people, maybe 15 million around the world, the entirety, and seeming to be above the fold headlines about the Jewish people every day, every week, every month, certainly. Country upon country focused. The Jews, it was attempted to wipe them out, as there were 18 million Jews back in the 30s, nearly 100 years ago, and now there are less than that because of the Holocaust. The Holocaust, something that Democratic Socialists of America, many of whom deny. And they certainly deny the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people, even though they claim and pound the table in support of science. They want to ignore the archaeological science, which is categorical and unequivocal in the conclusions that indeed the Jewish people were there, were in the state of Israel, dating back thousands of years, well before the time of Muhammad and the creation of the religion of Islam. Now, Islam is a religion that intends and directs that it be spread around the world, that it be expanded. So when you hear those argue that Israel is a colonial power and is the result of colonialism, no, they are the indigenous people of that land, and nowhere in Judaism is there an evangelical strand, one which directs the Jews to expand and to take over others, as exists in the Islamic religion. These differences are not insignificant. They are stark. And there was an article written that I would recommend you take a look at in JNS. We've had a number of the executives of JNS on the show in the past. This article is called Islam's Trojan Horse. We must ask Muslim immigrants if they will respect the Western way of life. That's the byline. It's an opinion piece, but it is important, particularly with the Democratic Socialists of America joining arm in arm with Islamists, Islamic radicals, communists, and socialists coming together under the DSA umbrella, which is under the Democratic Party's umbrella. People say, well, the DSA is different than the Democrats. No, it isn't. They have promoted the DSA. They have welcomed the DSA with open arms, the Democratic Party. And even when outlandish, crazy anti-American ideas, openly anti-American, espoused to be anti-American, like the destruction and tearing up, burning of the U.S. Constitution, what could be more un-American? The open support for the destruction of the American experiment, of the United States of America as we know it, and said pretty much that way by some who are part of the DSA. The DSA platform speaks to that as well. And it includes this radical Islamic idea. It includes the lie upon lie, the fact that no, the Jewish people are colonizers. The Jewish people attack others in an attempt to expand their power and authority. Now, that is projection, because that, in fact, is what is taught and has occurred with Islam in some of the most radical strains, for sure. But even into some of the powerful strains, if you will, those that govern countries, govern with an iron fist. Erdogan, a good example in Turkey, a fundamentalist Islamic view. And the dangers of it, now that it has come to the shores here in the United States, and those who oppose it are being cowed by, from Barack Obama to the present, what have we seen? We have seen minority communities must be protected even if they murder, even if they violate the law, even if they stand for the destruction of the United States of America. They must be protected nonetheless because they are a minority community. They are a victim, it is argued. And boy, is that dangerous. Because even victims, which they are not, but even if they were, even minority communities, even the underdog, can engage in heinous atrocities, can violate the law blatantly and seriously. Not stealing a candy bar, but cutting someone's head off or slashing their throat. Mutilating their genitalia or burning them alive. You cannot say, well, it's okay that I do those things because I am a victim. I am an underdog. I am one of the minority community to be protected. You cannot speak out against me. No, we need to speak out. With moral clarity, we need to speak out. And radical Islam is on the march, and it intends to create the great caliphate in the Middle East, but beyond as well. And it is in it for the long haul, not for a short-term gain. So take a look at Islam's Trojan horse. We must ask Muslim immigrants if they will respect the Western way of life, because what happens if they won't? And they simply want to kill the United States from within. The Jerusalem News Syndicate, JNS, go to jns.org and find the opinion piece, Islam's Trojan Horse. Very much worth taking a look at. Let's turn to Israel for a minute. Israel now apparently the pariah of the Democratic Party. Why is that? Isn't that crazy? I don't want to say it's overnight, but in the grand scheme of things, it's almost overnight. That Israel defended forcefully defended, vigorously defended by Democrats for many, many years, as well as Republicans, now only defended by Republicans. Even if an old-timer Democrat still in the House or Senate who has always supported Israel, wanted to support Israel again, the litmus test that now exists causes them to do it at their own peril and significant peril. At least half, or about half, of the Democratic caucus is now voting openly against the state of Israel. The state that has the same Judeo-Christian values the United States does, the same freedoms that the United States does, the same equality of opportunity and equality of position, including on their highest court in the state of Israel, including the fundamental values of the country, the same as here. No Arab country has that. None, not one. A record of success second to none. Parker Daniels Keyboard Law Firm, the numbers tell the story. The last 5 cases our lawyers have brought to trial have resulted in million and multi-million-dollar verdicts for our plaintiff clients and 0 defense verdicts for our defense clients. Put simply, we try cases and we win cases. Hi, I'm Andrew Parker. At Parker Daniels Keyboard, we take our work personally and we go the extra mile. That is why some of the biggest law firms, locally and nationally, send cases to us to handle when they can't. If you have a challenging and critically important business or personal legal dispute that must be favorably resolved, whether regarding a contract matter, a business divorce, a real estate dispute, an employment dispute, a civil rights or defamation matter, plain talk, if it's a big deal, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard. Wise counsel, winning results. Go to parkerdk.com. No other country in the Middle East has it. I would argue no other country in the world has the similarities, the sameness of values, moral clarity, fundamental founding principles as Israel does with the United States. That can be bantered back and forth. Some may disagree. I think Israel wins that argument. So how can it be that Israel is now a pariah within the Democratic Party? Well, we can go back to Israel's founding, reestablishment. Of course, it was thousands of years ago when Israel was initially established, and the archaeological data, information, physical evidence is overwhelming. Just go to Israel, go to Jerusalem, just outside the old city walls is the city of David. Archaeologically identified in terms of the age, the year, that the artifacts, thousands of them, have been located out, the year that they were forged, the year that they existed, the years when that city was bustling, city of David. That's just one example. There are many, many more, but the indigenous people of the state of Israel are the Jews, and you wonder how it got reestablished. Well, was it the guilt of the world coming out of 6 million Jews being systematically destroyed with enormous pain and suffering that the world knew about? We know that. Is it the collective guilt of the world that caused support for so long? Not because the Jews have a right to that land. That is their ancestral homeland. That is the place in the world where they have consistently had a presence year in, year out, never void of Jewish presence. I don't know. I mean, it could well be that type of guilt. And so the world recognized the reestablishment of the state of Israel as the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. There's no question about that. And international law and how the state of Israel in its current form has been established, and Israel's control over what it currently controls, is not an occupation. Under international law, it is not an occupation. And if it were, there would be dozens of other examples of occupations recognized around the world. But there aren't. The only one, the primary one, the focus for everyone, and the use of that term, occupation, is the state of Israel. And that is it. I dare say, and I'd like anyone out there to correct me, that the state of Israel has never attacked another, tried to expand its borders, unless there has been imminent threat of attack from the other or an actual attack by the other. Never has Israel attempted to expand. From the War of Independence in 1948, when the UN recognized the state of Israel, from that point, there has simply not been a time where Israel has attacked others to expand. No, others have attacked Israel. others have created such enormous imminent threats to the state and the existence of the state of Israel. The results of these various attempts by others to destroy the state has caused the state of Israel to grow in order to defend itself. That is not a colonizer. On the other hand, many Arab states, many Muslim states have done just that. They have attacked to expand. And they were created by arbitrary lines, not by ancestral homelands. So put the truth out on the table and then ask, why the hatred within the Democratic Party for the state of Israel? The state of Israel, which is not just the only Jewish state in the world. More than that, it is the Jewish people. When we're talking about the land, it is the foundation of the Jewish people. Judaism exists based on that land, and it is the prayers for Jerusalem and for that land in the hundreds throughout the Torah. The prayers, the references as well. Now, the Democratic Party needs to get its soul checked and needs to fight back and needs to quit doing the expedient thing of bowing to what it knows to be not moral, immoral, corrupt, bankrupt values, which is what we're hearing from their nominated, endorsed candidates time and time again, and you know who I'm talking about. Not least of which is El Said and his good friend Hassan Piker. Zoran Mamdani. Even AOC, though she's trying to hide. Ilhan Omar for sure, Rashida Tlaib. You go down the list, and these are not just pundits. These are elected officials. Remember when David Duke was on the verge of getting a nomination in the Republican Party? Maybe he did get the nomination. They threw him out of the party. He was like a blip on the screen. Why? Because he was in and out quickly. We're going to take a look at that, and we're going to talk about it on an upcoming show. Thank you much for joining me, and thank you much for listening. It is a difficult time. It is indeed. Go to the Andrew Parker Show. Give me your thoughts, ideas, concepts on what explains the turn, the anti-Jewish, the anti-Semitic, the anti-Israel turn within the Democratic Party. And don't tell me, well, it's because of settlements. Bibi was, he's settlements. It has nothing to do with settlements. There was a big settlement in Gaza. They turned it into a terror encampment. They turned it into a terror state. No, it doesn't have to do with that at all. Again, 6 different times offered a state of their own, the Palestinians, and the PLO rejected it each and every time. We're going to be back for episode 500, and I can tell you it is going to be a wonderful episode. So be watching. It'll be out soon. Until then, go to the Andrew Parker Show. That's the andrewparkershow.com. Subscribe. Give us your email. We'll connect, communicate, and drop. Every episode that's dropped, you will get directly and personally. And follow us as well. We're on all the different social media sites. Until then, be kind to your neighbor. For more smart, plain talk, go to theandrewparkershow.com. Learn about all of your listening and viewing options. And remember, all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. This episode of The Andrew Parker Show is sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard.
Did your employer make you sign a promissory note when joining the company, and now you want to leave, but you're afraid your firm will pursue you personally for that debt? This is Jesse Keyboard from the law firm Parker Daniels Keyboard. I recently represented a client who had signed such a note, and I was able to get them out of their $500,000 debt to their company, which allowed them the freedom to exit a bad employment situation and enter a much better one. Meeting our clients' objectives is our focus at Parker Daniels Keyboard, and in this regard, we win. Our experienced trial team of lawyers at Parker Daniels Keyboard have secured major victories in state and federal courts across the country and through arbitration. We have the legal expertise in all types of business disputes, labor and employment matters, real estate matters, shareholder disputes, financial transactions, security issues, and appeals. For wise counsel, winning results, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard, a premier litigation law firm that provides efficient, aggressive, and innovative solutions to complex legal problems. Wise counsel, winning results. Go to parkerdk.com.